Hey guys, let's get more news about Steelers, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Ronnie Stanley gave Ravens first dibs on $20 million APY deal. I was going to give Baltimore the best bargain rather than test free agency. Ravens OT Ronnie Stanley chose to re-sign with the team. Coming off his best and healthiest season in some years, his value was at its highest since his last extension. And many believe that he gave Baltimore a bargain, signing a 3-year, $60 million deal. For a franchise left tackle, that's certainly well within the market range. Considering former Steelers OT Dan Moore Jr. just signed a deal paying him $20.5 million APY, Stanley's deal with the Ravens looks pretty good. It puts him in line with Taylor Decker, Dion Dawkins, and Garrett Bowles, for example, but in the second tier. Given his injury history, that's not a surprise, even if he has Pro Bowl talent. I think it's just a really cool thing to be able to spend 10 years of my career plus with the same team that I got drafted with, Ronnie Stanley said recently about the possibility of remaining with the Ravens for the duration of his playing days. Our latest videos, I'm always going to give them first dibs when it comes to things like that out of respect, Stanley added, noting that the Ravens took a chance on him in the top of the draft. Of course, realistically, he went pretty much where people expected him to go in the draft at that time. And by and large, he proved them right in terms of his talent. By his fourth season, Ronnie Stanley developed into an All-Pro for the Ravens. Unfortunately, his career took a turn for the worse shortly thereafter. Just after signing a massive extension during the 2020 season, he suffered a major injury. That injury has hampered the past half-decade of his career. Stanley played in just 7 games for the Ravens in 2020-21, and 11 in 2022. It wasn't until last season that he managed a full season again, and his performance also reflected his improved health. He accepted a pay cut to remain with the team in 2024, the team already showing to have his back. I knew I was going to give Baltimore the best bargain that I would offer to any other team, Stanley said of the Ravens. That being said, I still wanted to be happy with what I'm making and make sure I'm getting the value that I feel like I deserve. I think it was a good balance that could help the team and something I'm still happy with. At $20 million APY, Stanley is within $500,000 of all but the top 5 highest-paid left tackles in the NFL, so the Ravens didn't exactly rob him. Still, they paid him nearly $20 million APY on his previous extension, back in 2020. The fact that his salary has roughly remained flat speaks to the trials he has experienced. The Ravens are still taking a gamble on Ronnie Stanley, now 31, given his injury history. It's certainly possible that another team on the open market would have been willing to pay him more. Franchise left tackles are rarely available on the open market, even ones in less than ideal condition. Odds are, this deal was best for both parties, but his health will determine that. Darius Slayton's 4-word message to fans after Russell Wilson signed with Giants. The New York Giants' search for a starting quarterback ended on Tuesday when the team signed Russell Wilson to a 1-year, $21 million contract. The deal includes $10.5 million guaranteed. Wilson is headed to New York after a 1-season stint with the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Giants will be his 4th team in the last 5 years. Wilson represents a vast improvement over New York's previous quarterback situation, and the veteran passer received an enthusiastic welcome from one of his new wideouts. Giants country, let's ride, Darius Slayton wrote on X in response to the Giants signing the 10-time Pro Bowler. The message references Wilson's infamous catchphrase from his time with the Denver Broncos. While Mr. Unlimited has been thoroughly mocked for incessantly saying Broncos country, let's ride during his dismal Denver tenure, Slayton clearly alluded to the phrase in a playful manner. After catching passes from Daniel Jones, Drew Lock and Tommy DeVito in 2024, Wilson is a massive upgrade. And that reality is not lost on Slayton. Darius Slayton will benefit from new Giants quarterback Russell Wilson. The veteran receiver is coming off one of the worst seasons of his career. Slayton had 39 receptions for 573 yards and 2 touchdowns in 16 games last year. Despite the anemic stats in a contract year, the Giants prioritized the wideout this offseason. New York signed Slayton to a 3-year, $36 million extension, doubling the annual salary from his previous deal. New York selected Slayton in the 5th round of the 2019 draft. He spent his entire 6-year career with the Giants and just signed his 2nd extension with the team. However, Slayton has failed to live up to the promise shown in his rookie season, when he had 740 yards and 8 touchdowns in just 14 games. Now Slayton is behind 2024 first-round pick Malik Nabers in the Giants' wideout pecking order, and maybe Wan'Dale Robinson too. But he's a dependable receiver that the team trusts. And with the addition of Wilson, he has a quarterback who can throw a deep ball. The Giants made a run at Aaron Rodgers this offseason, but the future Hall of Famer is taking his time deciding on his next NFL stop. Rodgers had standing offers from the Giants and the Steelers. New York added everybody's favorite backup QB Jameis Winston on a 2-year, $8 million deal last week, and some felt the team would attempt to add a passer with the 3rd overall pick in the upcoming draft. But the Giants opted for Wilson instead. The 36-year-old signal caller looked good for a stretch with the Steelers last year, but the team fell apart at the end of the season. Pittsburgh lost its last 4 regular season games before falling to the Baltimore Ravens in the wild card round. Mike Giannakos is the former editor-in-chief of High Times magazine, where he also spearheaded the video department and event production. He is a longtime podcaster and even longer-suffering New York Jets fan. New information surfaces about Aaron Rodgers' decision. Aaron Rodgers continues to leave teams hanging more than 2 weeks removed from the start of free agency, but it may not be much longer before the star quarterback joins a new team. Rodgers reportedly has offers from both the Pittsburgh Steelers and New York Giants. He met with Steelers coaches and executives last week, which has led many to believe that Pittsburgh is his preferred destination. Yet, there has still been no indication that an official decision is imminent. Fans may not have to wait much longer, however. During a Monday appearance on SiriusXM NFL Radio, Tom Pelissero of NFL Network said contract negotiations are not the reason Rodgers is stalling. The reporter also believes a decision could come within the next few days. They've had parameters in place in Pittsburgh for weeks. It's not going to be a contract thing. It's not going to be a financial thing. With the Giants, there have been ongoing conversations and ongoing dialogue with Aaron Rodgers' agent, but Aaron just calls his own shots, Pelissero said. My impression from talking to a lot of people involved is that people believe this answer is coming in the near term, maybe even within the next few days here. But one guy can change that, which is Aaron himself. If he's not ready to say I'm fully jumping into the water here, then we're going to continue to wait. Pelissero also noted that the Steelers and/or Giants could decide at some point that they need to move on and use their resources elsewhere. It seems likely that Rodgers would make his choice before it got to that, however. If money is not an issue, it sounds like Rodgers genuinely can't decide if he would rather play for the Steelers or Giants. With New York, he would be playing in the exact same stadium as he did with the New York Jets and would not even have to move. But the Steelers made the playoffs last year and are much closer to championship contention. Rodgers may also prefer Pittsburgh for a more unique reason. Are you a fan? What do you think about Aaron Rodgers' situation? Leave your opinion in the comments.